So the Brewers are exactly in the same spot in the playoffs that the Cardinals were last year. They'll play the Phillies. It's amazing how it matches. They'll play the Phillies in that wild card series, best out of 2 out of 3. So, although I can say this with full confidence, they will not have their manager freeze like a deer in the headlights in the 9th inning when a Game 1 victory is going down the toilet. I can guarantee you that. So anyway.
Oh, what a memory. It'll last forever.
It will.
It really will.
Will Leach and I were talking on the Seeing Red today, and I said, look, man, maybe some people say, get over it. What are you, a child? No. Well, a little bit. But I said, my view of Ali Marmol changed dramatically, substantially after that game. Because you just simply can't have a pretty good regular season. Yes, it was inflated by wins over the hapless NL Central teams. All that grew up and became strapping youngsters in 2023. But you just can't get in there and you spend the final couple weeks patting yourself on the back and talking about how great you are and everything else. And you can't give a game away, especially the very first one you manage in the postseason. You just can't give a game away. Those things are too precious, and it's too hard to do in the postseason to recover from stuff like that. And I told Will, and he agreed. I can't help it. It isn't a matter of me just like stubbornly holding on to something, but it's like, how do you fully trust this guy after that disaster? It's really, really hard for me to do so. And there are other reasons as well, but it's really hard for me to trust him. He lost a lot of face and a lot of credibility that day by squandering Game 1 against the Phillies. Really, really, really bad. And it was a Matheny-type moment because Matheny did it. His Waterloo was this wasn't Ali's Waterloo because the Cardinals think he's Casey Stengel or something. I don't know. When Matheny screwed up the elimination game against the Giants in 2014 NLCS, where the Cardinals had a 1-1 series going to the Bay Area for 3, and they lost 3 close games, and he brought in Michael Wacha, famously, notoriously, who hadn't pitched in a long time and was the worst possible guy you could put into extra innings at that time, and never used Trevor Rosenthal. And Ishikawa, boom! Season over. That was Marmol's Ishikawa moment. Wacha Ishikawa moment. Marmol's already had one of those.
He definitely has.
It shakes your faith, right?
It does.
It just does.
Going back to that, prior to that moment, he did all right because he called on Yepez, and Yepez hit the home run. You're like, oh, right. They pulling the right strings, and then it crumbled right there, and there was nothing left after that. I mean, it's one of those things where when everything goes that bad, that fast, you can't recover from it. Even the next night, it was like the minute Harper hit that home run, you're like, yep, this thing is done. Call it a season. This thing is over with. No matter what else happens the rest of that game on that Saturday night. They didn't have a prayer.
So the Cardinals, right now, through 156 games, just to let you know historically where they are, here are the 5 worst winning percentage by a Cardinals team through the first 156 games, which is where they are now. 1978, 429 winning percentage. 2023, 436. So this is second worst winning percentage they've had. Through 156 games, just kind of sticking with the expansion era. And it actually goes back a lot farther than that. So the 1990 team at this point had a 449 winning percentage, and 76 and 97 teams were at 455. So the Cardinals, 2 more losses, they'll have 90 losses. And, will they finish with a worse record than the 78 Cardinals? Because that would make some history if they do. I think they'll win a couple of games. And if they get to 70 wins, they'll finish, quote, ahead, unquote, of the 78 Cardinals. So I think they'll get a couple done. I just do. So anyway, one thing I want to talk about real quick, and then we'll take a break. Let me find this. Takes a minute. I apologize. You know how I am. Luken Baker started all 3 games at San Diego, and I know that pleased Jim Hewer and pleased me because we've been saying just let him play. Just put him in the lineup and let him stay there. And he had a good weekend. If the big guy gets a legitimate chance to show what he can do, he can come through because, as Will Leach noted when we were talking, seeing red, this is not a grip and rip it guy. This is not a guy, it's all or nothing. If you look at AAA, he had a huge walk rate and a very low strikeout rate. That tells you that he's not just a power hitter, but he has a really smart approach. But to really fine-tune your approach, you have to play a lot. You can't come off the bench once a week. It's just not you see the real essence of a hitter, especially a younger hitter, inexperienced hitter, I should say. When you put him in, let him go, let him play a bunch of games, and he just sort of finds that rhythm. And that's what he said in an interview with Derek Gould, too. He wasn't really being critical. He was just saying, I think this is what I would need to really be at my best. I'm like most hitters. I mean, the more you play, the more of a feel you get for everything. He had a good series against the Padres where he was, I think he was 3 for 9. He had a homer. He drove in 3 runs. He walked a lot. And, in fact, he got on base 50% of his plate appearances, and he slugged .667 against the Padres. Look, I know it's only 3 games, but the point is he's in the lineup those 3 games. And we got a better sense of who he is when he actually gets to play. And I went and did this today because I wanted to look this up. All right, in his last 11 games, I warn you, 10 of those are starts. The other one is a game that he entered in the 2nd inning, and it was basically like playing a full game. So I'm going to count it. So in the last 11 games that he has started, okay, he's hit .235. Well, what's so good about that? It's not great, but he also drew 6 walks, so he had a .350 on-base percentage in those 11 games, the last 11 that he started. And he slugged .441. He kept his strikeouts way down, 20%. And again, he has started more games recently than before, and you can see when he settles into that, he's a pretty damn good hitter. And there's a lot there. But I had to laugh at Ollie reading the comments in Derek Gould's story today about, Ollie says, well, he needs to play. We're going to give him these games this week. This week.
Right.
This team has been 100 games out of any kind of playoff race since like the end of June, if not sooner than that. Right?
Yes.
You wait to the final week of the season. Oh, by the way, in a month where a lot of guys are hurt, well, we're going to give him this week and see what. Well, that's generous of you, isn't it? He could have been getting these opportunities at a greater volume for a long, long time. The team was dead. It was done. The 2023 season was buried. That's the ideal time to give inexperienced players a chance to show you what they can do with regular playing time. And I don't care about, you got to have this guy DH or you got to have. No, you don't. Your team is dead. You're going to lose 90-plus games. We got to have him playing. No, you don't have to have a guy playing DH unless his name is Luken Baker. You just put everyone else to the side. I'm sorry. But no. But what cracks me up is Ollie thinks he's being really generous. We're going to give him a chance. The final week of the season, that's it? That's your chance? And even if he rocks the house, he goes up to Milwaukee and hits a couple. He comes home and does well. What does that mean then? What, you're going to write him in for next year? No. I tell you what, man, I'm not saying that Luken Baker is going to have a great career. I have no idea, but he knows how to hit. He's a big, strong man. He's mature. He's intelligent. He does have a refined hitting approach. And there are repercussions when you don't give a guy an opportunity. I hearken back to this all the time, and no, I'm not saying that Luken Baker is Randy Arozarena. I'm not. However, as an example of the repercussions, Mike Schilt in September of 2019, 2019, Mike Shildt gave Randy Arozarena 15 plate appearances. That's it. The whole month. And by the way, they needed help in the outfield. Bader was banged up. They had a couple other little things going on, 15 plate appearances. They called him up and he sat. Now listen, Baker has played more than that this month. But here, let me give you the stat that made me mad this morning. In the month of September, with guys hurt and with the manager, vowing to give him an opportunity, which he actually really didn't. This month, 11 Cardinals have more plate appearances than Luke and Baker. How is that possible when you're saying with a straight face you're giving him a chance? He's 12th in plate appearances this month, okay? And he's actually done well with those 35 plate appearances. I think he's got the 5th best OPS on the team this month. That doesn't make him Rogers Hornsby, but I'm just saying. He's got a little something going when he does play. But no, we can't have him do this. We can't get the townspeople excited or something. I don't know. Like I said, I gave up trying to figure these people out a long time ago.
They consistently don't have the foresight to look ahead and go, well, if we do this, this will help us evaluate where we're at and what we could use for next year. They haven't done it. We talked about,
except for the pitchers, and that's it. Yeah. Zach Thompson and Drew Rom.
Yeah, they've given those guys.
And don't even tell me, not you, but they try to include Hudson in that group.
Yeah, no.
Shut up. No. He's 29. He's no kid.
Right.
Rom is a kid. Thompson's a kid. Relatively speaking, they're inexperienced major league pitchers. Yeah, they gave those guys auditions, no doubt about it. But they're trying to peddle Hudson. Well, this is a good time to see what Dak can do. What the hell are you talking about? How long's he been pitching for the Cardinals? Anyway, I cut you off.
No, we talked to how they misused Walker and didn't give him a chance to learn the outfield last year. And I'll throw in, he's here now because of injury, but Ivan Herrera should have been catching a lot down the stretch here.
Yep.
What is he? How good is he defensively? I think I see some things. Can he contribute here next year? I think he can, but he should have been here. There's no reason for him to be playing at Memphis throughout this month of September. It's the same thing with Baker. I just have a feeling, like you said, Bernie, that this offseason is going to come and I'm going to go, well, we really don't have a spot for Luke because he can only play first and DH. We got a lot of other guys that can do that. We didn't really get we only played him a week, so I don't think we have a good feel for him, and he's going to get exposed. Somebody's going to take him. He's going to go somewhere and play, and he's going to hit. I don't know how good he's going to be, but he's going to be given an opportunity to hit. He looks like he's going to be a pretty decent hitter at the major league level, and he's got power.